Very pleasant. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a Peel Yourself Off the Mat Monday edition of the Defo Show. That is Mike Lubie Lubitz over there. I'm Jeff DeForest. We're real happy to have you guys along for the ride. Getting into that holiday schedule. This is the last week of actual activity until you get into these hybrid holiday schedules. I know we're going to take a few days off over the next couple of weeks.
Yes.
Christmas holiday coming up. Hanukkah already started.
Yes,
And
sir.
of course, New Year's, and we welcome in 2026, which seems unfathomable to me, Luby. Unfathomable. You would have been, what, about 18 when 2000 rolled around? Is that right? 18 years old? Was that a big deal for you,
I
2000?
I was a junior in high school, 17, turning
17.
18.
Okay.
And no, it was 18. Oh no, okay. When it turned 2000, I just turned 18. I just turned 18 and was a senior in high school. And I remember it being a big deal. And I remember Y2K being a whole friggin' thing. And
The
everyone
world
was
was going to collapse, remember?
Y2K.
Yeah.
And it being nothing.
I can't believe it's been a quarter of a century. I can still envision where I was that New Year's Eve as the clock struck 12. I was in, you'll find this a little bit surprising. I was in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And I remember being out on the strip somewhere and people were partying. Everybody was having a great time. And then it became Y2K. And there was always in the back of your mind, no matter how bogus this stuff tends to be, right? And you're hearing all kinds of stuff about, oh, well, this is going to happen. That's going to happen. The apocalypse is coming. And that Y2K thing, you somewhere subliminally were breathing a slight sigh of relief that it didn't happen, that the
Yes.
technical world did not completely come to an abrupt end. But I can't believe it's 25 years past already, and we're into 2026, which, well, one miracle is we're still here, man. You never got me
Yeah.
down, Ray. You never got me down. So good to have you guys with us. Be an interesting couple of weeks. Certainly a wild weekend, but once again, we have to start with tragedy and the obituary column. Couple of things there. When I first saw this news, now you never know what to believe anymore because somebody will put up a post that this guy disappeared or Brad Pitt is dead or all of these other things that turn out to be completely bogus. And then you start looking it up and you don't see anything about it. And oddly, this happened to us with our good friend John Footy Cross. I don't want to say that we put any kind of a dark stamp on what was going on with this man. But I thought I saw our friend David Lorenzo, a former owner of Lorenzo's Italian Market, one of the great places ever in the history of the culinary world here in South Florida. And developers came in, bought the store. I think he very reluctantly got out of the business, Luby. Did you sense a piece of his heart was left there as he was
Yes.
closing Lorenzo's Market? Good guy, and he was a huge, huge advocate of everything that John Footy Cross was doing. So I thought I saw him put some kind of tribute up on Facebook a couple of weeks ago. And remember, we started speculating: is John Footy Cross, is John Cross still
Yes.
alive? And of course, we saw no evidence to the contrary that he wasn't alive, and so we're assuming he was alive. And then I get a text on Saturday morning from the great Frank Fiore. It says Footy passed away. I'm like, what? You got to be kidding me! So I was kind of, I mean, it was a little eerie that we were talking about that. And then he actually checked out. Now, I know he'd been having some health issues because he had been moving around with a walker for several years. I didn't realize that he also was suffering from some other things that were very, very debilitating. And sure enough, he passed away. And then you see this story. Well, we shrug our shoulders now on school shootings at Brown University. 2 people dead, 9 people injured, and you're like, oh, geez, only 2 people dead. And that whole callousness, it's not like you're being callous. It's just it's become so common that it's mind-boggling that this is how we view these things. I mean, what should be among the most horrifying things that could ever happen? Imagine you're sending your kid to Brown University. Little Luca, he's going to Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island, a quiet little fishing town there, or whatever they are. Providence, nice place, sort of a quaint atmosphere in Providence, Rhode Island. I've been there a few times covering various events and always enjoyed myself there. It seemed very peaceful, didn't it? You don't feel threatened or anything. Brown University, send your kid off to Brown, an Ivy League school, a top-notch Ivy League school. And you have to worry that there's going to be a shooting. Well, you had the same thing with Florida State just a couple
Yeah,
years ago. I mean, it's so insane. And then, of course, you had the incident in Australia. And then I didn't believe this to be true. A good friend of mine on Facebook had posted, "Rest in peace, Rob Reiner." Like, Rob Reiner,
Yes, that was crazy. Yeah, that I talked with him a few months ago or late last
yeah,
year. He had a movie coming out about Christian nationalism, or yeah, Christian nationalism, and he did a whole film. And he was fantastic, and he seemed in good health. So this whole thing was freaking crazy. He got murdered actually, so his health wasn't a factor. That's just nuts. like he's a
his wife
big,
too. Yeah, I mean, apparently the storyline is that his son, who had a long time drug addiction battle, might have been responsible. Although that hasn't been stated as fact yet. I don't think there's been any arrest made in this case. So they were kind of vague, considering that the family. I saw a press conference with one of the police spokespeople in Los Angeles, and they weren't confirming that it was Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle, and yet the family had already said it's Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle. So I mean, that was a bizarre story, but well respected. I mean, you talk about the body of work this guy did. Of course, Carl Reiner, his father, was a brilliant comedian and also a huge contributor to the arts in many different platforms, on many different platforms. And Rob Reiner, all in a family, of course. Everybody remembers him as Meathead.
mhm.
And then went on to a brilliant directing career, many, many top notch movies, including, I guess, When Harry Met Sally. Would that be that? That's not even mentioned among the many films that he made.
Yeah, they leave that out a lot, and that's
Isn't that amazing? Yeah, I mean, classic movie. I'll have what she's having. But yeah, wild, crazy stuff happening over the weekend in that regard. And of course, you hate to see it, but uh, it's all part of life. I don't know that you can just nod and smile and go, well, I guess that's the way it goes. Things happen. But such ugliness at a time where we should be spreading good holiday cheer and everybody getting together and love thy neighbor, that sort of thing. But that was all part of the weekend. A lot of tragedy. And then the NFL now the Dolphins in action tonight. Very interesting game, matched up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. They have to go to some incredibly cold weather, which the Dolphins don't fare well in. Who would you give the edge to at quarterback in cold weather?
he's
Aaron Rodgers
guy that won a Super Bowl in Green Bay.
played his career pretty much in Green Bay. I mean, this is sort of the tail end there, where you become a little bit of a vagabond, bag lady type, and you're bouncing around. A couple of years with the Jets, and now with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And it looked like he might have been a little bit of the answer early on. Then they started to fade. They had a horrible outing, the Steelers, a couple of weeks ago. Really looked like they had thrown in the towel. You talk about looking like a shot fighter. That was Rodgers. He was at that press conference. Now he's never exactly effervescent during these press conferences. Aaron Rodgers is always kind of a sullen, sort of withdrawn type, and you don't know what language he's speaking, or if he's even. It's kind of like watching Timothy Leary explain what it's like to be tripping, where you really don't know if there's any connection between what Rodgers is saying and the reporters. He seems to be very reluctant to even want to be there in the first place. Doesn't he seem kind of like everything that somebody says he wants to push back on? And he really looked like, I mean, he was going to be announcing his retirement, didn't he? A couple of weeks ago, Louis, did you see this press conference after the game that he had where he's like, I'm not going to say anything about that. All of this nonsense that was going on. Horrible game by the Pittsburgh Steelers. You thought they were done. The Ravens were coming on.
Yep.
And all of that good mojo that they had going at the beginning of the season looked like it was typical because we see this a lot. We saw it last year with Mike Tomlin, where he gets off to a good start. Seems to be one of those coaches that can do more with less than a lot of guys give him credit for. And yet, when it all shakes out in the end, when the full volume of work is completed, they're like, they were okay. A shame that they blew a good opportunity. Now they bounced back with a big win last week, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and so they're riding a little wave. I mean, it's all temporary, right? Jerry Glanville was right. NFL not for long. A little wave of enthusiasm here coming into a game where the Dolphins are horrendous. I mean, their history in cold weather is abysmal at best. So, who would you rather have? Tua, who has routinely failed in cold weather games, or Aaron Rodgers leading your club tonight?
Again, at this stage, even Aaron Rodgers, just because of how he's done in cold weather games. Tua, I mean, a lot of time his offensive line has totally betrayed him. So there's a lot of that gets ignored, and they go away from the run a lot. which again, in cold weather, that the run is your friend. So it's not all on Tua, but Tua has not just, I mean, they've been in plenty of cold weather games just in his Dolphins tenure and has not gone well. The Dolphins are riding, I guess, high. They've won, what, 4 out of 5?
4 games in a row, 4 straight.
5 out of 6 or something like that. So I wouldn't put it past them. I don't know. Just this time of the year in cold weather has never been the Dolphins' friend, let alone this team with this coach.
Huge game for both clubs now. Carolina, wow, you talk about a Jekyll and Hyde club. Carolina goes against the Saints with a chance to move into first place in their division. This is a team that's literally pulling itself off the mat every year. They're sitting there with a 7-6 record. Remarkably, every other game, Bryce Young either looks like a kid that, as we were saying last week, the only way he could be in the starting lineup is if his father owned the team. And then the next week, he makes a good account of himself, and you're crediting Canales, the coach, with doing a really good job. But they alternate between being okay and completely inept. Carolina, so they blow their game yesterday against the Saints, lose outright. The Saints have won a couple in a row, which does that add a little bit of luster to the Dolphins' victory over the Saints, where the Saints showed signs of life, fought back from a 16-0 deficit, or does it just make you feel, as Joe Philbin would say, as queasy as ever about this Miami Dolphin team? They're getting 3 points tonight on a betting line if you're inclined to make a wager on this game. I doubt anybody in our audience is interested in betting. Would you say, Lubie? That
Dolphins?
nobody to watch? No, anything, any kind of betting, any kind of wagering.
I mean, the way the NFL and college football is gone, you might have to follow the professor in the college basketball. It's just like the Patriot Bills game yesterday. I mean, I guess the Bills ended up winning, and so the favorite did win, but that was ludicrous, that game.
They're down 21-0.
and then what do you mean? Then they went back and forth.
Yeah.
It's like
On 21-0, it looked like they were pulling out. I was riding my friend Jimmy, the big Patriot fan, and I was telling him, I mean, and he was distraught after the game that they ended up losing, which you blow a 21-point lead when you're sailing along. It is very deflating, no doubt about that. But I told him if they were going to lose a game in this run, this one, it hurts them in the sense that the Bills move a game closer. They still have a 1-game edge over the Bills. They did fall behind Denver for the best overall record. The Denver Broncos, remarkably, 10 wins in a row. They beat the Green Bay Packers and did it by scoring a bunch of points, which had not been characteristic of Bo Nix and the Sean Payton offense. They were doing it almost exclusively with a wicked defense, but Green Bay managed to find a few answers against that defense, and yet still couldn't put the ball game away. Micah Parsons out, apparently, a torn ACL. Patrick Mahomes out, torn ACL. Kansas City out of the postseason, Lubie. What were we thinking going into this year? KC hadn't missed the playoffs, I think, since 2014 and had been in 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls. And they don't make the postseason this year, which, wow. I mean, how much could you have made on that bet? Everybody thought that they were a cinch to get back there again, or at least among maybe, 3 teams that you would consider in the AFC. The other being the Baltimore Ravens, who were heavy favorites. They did manage to win their game yesterday convincingly, and yet they find themselves actually trailing the Steelers in the divisional standings. And you would have to think that only one team is going to come out of that division, and that there won't be a wild card team. Although I guess 7-7 doesn't eliminate you from competition, because here are the Dolphins with a chance to make the postseason. Do they need to run the table and get like an enormous amount of highlight type of help, where they need a series of miracles coming from other sources to make the postseason? So I don't know that they're going to do that. It would be interesting to see them rally for 5 wins in a row. This would be one of those games that you thought you can't just swipe it away and say, oh, well, who'd they beat? Jason Cole was giving us the business over that.
yes.
So, and I shot back at him on the show, trying to give a little pushback there, because he was burying me about my statement that the Dolphins were the best 1-5 team in football at the time that they were 1-5. They might have even been the only 1-5 team. I'm not sure. But that being said, this would be some kind of validation, I guess, that Mike McDaniel can coach a little bit. If they can make it 5 in a row, make it to 500 after being 2-7, wouldn't be too shabby. Not a bad accomplishment. I was telling my buddy though about the Patriots. And Brian, of course, a big Patriot fan. You can't be too depressed about that one. I mean, you spit the bit on a 21-0 lead.
Yeah.
That's not a good sign. I kept telling him this will be the test for Drake May because a good quarterback, and there were a couple of times during the game that you need to sort of fend off this Buffalo comeback. They gathered all the momentum in the third quarter, scored right away, kept getting points on the board. They were forcing 3-and-outs. And you're asking yourself, okay, here's a second-year quarterback. Can he handle this situation and generate a long drive, maybe even 3 points that help ice the ball game, or put yourself in a far more favorable position? Or does he just keep generating 3-and-outs? And if that's the case, then you really have to go back to the drawing board and wonder if the Patriots are championship caliber material. I thought he gave a decent account of himself. It's just Buffalo. This has been their MO the last 2 weeks,
Yes.
and maybe various times during the season.
Last
I think
2 years. I mean, this is sort of the
they've
thing.
orchestrated a bunch of comebacks this year, and they managed to come back and win this ball game. So that was a good one. And then, of course, the blockbuster developments of Green Bay, who a lot of people were sort of embracing as a possible NFC Super Bowl contender, maybe win the championship and go to the bowl. And yet those ideas went zippity-doo-dah, and you would have to think, was Jerry Jones subliminally smiling that, I mean, in spite of his defeat there, which was an ugly loss to Minnesota by the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday Night Football, and that pretty much put a dagger right in the back of any slight playoff hopes that the Dallas Cowboys had. So their season goes right in the toilet. But does Jerry get any kind of vicarious thrill? You can't root for a guy to be injured, can you? He did say that when he dealt him away. He said, hey, look, you know what? The guy might be great, but if he gets injured and I got $300 million invested in the guy, what good is it? So maybe I don't need that type of commodity on my team. What do you think? Did he?
Yes, he definitely does. He's that kind of vindictive scumbag that definitely would feel that exactly. Because
I told you this guy wasn't going to last.
He was having a nice year too. I mean, he wasn't great, but he was having a nice year. Yes, Jerry Jones for sure. That feels vindicated.
I told you. It's kind of like you finding out, and I meant to mention this. Your man Porzingis now with the Hawks, Atlanta Hawks, out with a mysterious illness.
Always hurt. Look at them.
Never lasts the entire season. But I can't imagine. No, he couldn't have been reveling in the injury to Micah Parsons, could he? Jerry Jones.
100%.
Yeah, he could have. Yeah, scumbag.
Just like Patriot fans are reveling in Mahomes' injury. Most fans.
How could you root for Patrick Mahomes to get injured? I'm sure there are people that don't like the whole thing and the wife and all of this other stuff.
Well, people don't like dynasties, and they have a dynasty, and so people, they were the team unseating the dynasty. Well, now they're the team with the dynasty, so people eventually start to root against them. I don't know if anyone's actually rooting for his injury, but people have become not the biggest fans of Mahomes. You see him everywhere. Again, you just said the wife's a lunatic. The brothers are a lunatic. So yeah,
there are certain guys though that you want to see in any game, even if you're rooting against the team. I mean, they just sort of stir your emotional pot a little bit, and whether you root for him or against him, it's always enjoyable. I think you would much rather see Mahomes out there than Chad Henne retired. So who's the backup quarterback in Kansas City? Do we even know? No idea.
Oh, I don't know.
Does this mean we won't have to see Andy Reid stuffing his face with fried fish sticks and whatever else? Does he ever eat anything that isn't crusted in breadcrumbs or some kind of?
I don't know.
I've never seen him in a commercial where he wasn't eating something that was not heavily fried. No.
Well, they love to poke fun at him, and he, I guess, goes along with it.
I mean, he's eating chicken McNuggets, fries.
Yes, that's the one I love that that's a steal Mahomes' tenders. It's like, yeah, because Andy Reid can't afford his own chicken finger.
He's made millions of dollars. He can't get an order of chicken fingers. Some discount chicken shack. Unbelievable. So does this diminish his Q rating where they missed the playoffs one year and all of a sudden we don't see Andy Reid in every commercial anymore? Because he was starting to rival Peyton Manning as being just an endorsement whore, where he would literally sell anything. It doesn't. And the Mannings were even embracing gambling. I would imagine that was against the family's religious beliefs for a long period of time until somebody waved a bag of money in front of him and said, "Hey, tell these people to bet parlays. That's what works." Like what? What are you talking about? All right. Anything else strike you off the NFL slate? Anything stand out to you, Mike Louie Lubitz, or were you busy
Yeah, I
having
didn't
to
get to
do
watch so much. The Rams getting past the Lions and already securing a playoff spot's pretty big because people are talking about who's good, who's not. You don't really hear. It's funny, a few years ago, McVay was the thing and the Rams were the thing. And then the last few years, they've become sort of okay. So people
Yeah.
sort of forgotten about them. Right
I didn't
now,
see any Philip Rivers. Did
it
you,
feels like,
Philip Rivers?
oh no, with the Colts, that's
Colts only lost by 2 to Seattle.
almost one.
People were thinking he nearly beat. I mean, imagine coming off the shelf 5 years at 44 years old. Are you kidding me? Now they had him dinking and dunking. It wasn't like he was firing a ball down the field. And his mo. I mean, he was kind of a swashbuckling type, wasn't he?
Rivers, yes, Rivers.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it was kind of like a Josh Allen type, you would have to say, where, yeah, I mean, you figured he was going to try and mix it up a little bit. Roethlisberger, he had a little Roethlisberger in him. But I didn't see any of the play of Philip Rivers, but I did see a stat that on passes that were over 5 yards in the air, he was 2 of 9 for 33 yards and an interception. So he dinked and dunked his way and kept the Colts in that ballgame against what's supposed to be a really good Seattle team. Record-wise, certainly reflects that. The style in which they've been beating their opponents was indicative of a team that possibly could be a Super Bowl contender. And their life and death to beat a 44-year-old quarterback. And the Indianapolis Colts, who now are enthralled and involved in a 4-game losing streak, after getting off to that 8-2 start. So that was interesting out of the NFL yesterday as well. The Detroit Lions, are they Kaputski? I guess. I don't know. They're not totally finished, mathematically eliminated yet, but that was ugly. Chicago, do you believe that they're for real? Chicago, they played the Browns, a really bad team, but
What's his name had Williams' numbers have been sort of but he made a really big throw to give them the go-ahead touchdown in between like four guys.
Yeah, Jacksonville 48 points, very explosive on offense. Somehow the Jaguars are 10-4 on the season, so very interesting. We're 15 weeks into this thing, and we still don't have any idea what the hell's going on. So very, very interesting all the way around.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, we have an idea. It's just, can we accept what our like?
Can you believe what you're seeing?
Eyes exactly. Can our brain accept what our eyes are showing? Like the Patriots still are among the class of the AFC.
That was no embarrassment. I mean, losing a 21-0 lead is embarrassing, but they did build it up. And then it became a very competitive game, seesawing back and forth, like you said. You weren't sure what was going to happen till the very end, till the final seconds evaporated off the clock. I didn't think that was that tragic of a loss, I believe it or not. And Bob Kraft, by the way, looks good. What happened to him, man? He looks like he got on a diet or something. He was never fat, but Bob Kraft,
wow,
he's got something. I mean, I know he's got pockets full of money. That'll tend to take the stress off of your face, but and had to be riding a high because he did make a quick correction after hiring Gerard Mayo, and people were stunned that he would just get rid of the guy after 1 year. You're thinking, what the hell could this guy have done? Is there some kind of Sharon Morey,
oh God,
Sharon Moore underlying theme here? Is he banging the ball girl? I mean, what the hell happened with Gerard Mayo? 1 year and he's out. They bring in Vrabel, and you would have to say you would take 11-3.
Yes, thanks.
You had the over of 8.5. You're cashing already. You've been on a nice easy ride there with a lot of extra money in your pocket since 2 weeks ago. So interesting day all the way around, but tragic with Mahomes and Michael Parsons going down. You hate to see the stars.
Yes,
leaving the league. T.J. Watt's out of the game tonight for the Pittsburgh Steelers, although not with an injury as severe as the torn ACL. Which I mean, are we talking about not even being ready for the start of next year for these guys?
I mean, this too late in the year, yeah, it's questionable. Like it's usually a year injury. It feels weird to see people.
ACL is ACL the same as like Tommy John now? It's like you automatically tack on a year.
I don't know.
I think you come back a little faster from that.
ACL and Achilles both used to be. ACL, it seems like it's way less than a year now. Achilles still is, I guess, around a year or
9
less.
months. 9 months
We've
for
seen
Achilles.
guys come back from having an Achilles near the end of the year and then be back the next year. So ACL, I think, is even better than that. Like we've seen guys have an ACL early in the year and come back at the end of the year. So it's not what it was, but it's not good. Like you don't want it from your star quarterback. You don't want it from your star linebacker edge. Like these are not who are guys that aren't like young. Like they're guys in their late 20s, early 30s. Like, you don't want them to have these kind of major injuries.
They'll never be the same.
And I just don't know what to do with the Chiefs. Everyone's saying the dynasty's done, I guess. Last year,
looks like it needs a lot of work.
They aren't going to make the playoffs at all this year. The way it looks, it's
Kelsey, a monster, a dominating force, not the same.
He's done, yeah.
This year. Mahomes unable to pull off these miracles, even when he got some of his receiving help back. It still hasn't been the same. So they may be at a point where. Look, it's true. Everything goes. Sports very cyclical. When you have a dynasty like the Patriots that goes for 20 years, I don't care how much you hate them. You got to give them credit for being
100%.
able to maintain that. And it isn't like baseball, where the most money usually can help you sustain this kind of level of excellence. You still have to deal with the cap rules, which, as you were talking about on Friday's show, Lubie, were only put in place to control the greedy owners from outbidding themselves.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's just because owners can't trust themselves, so they make rules so that the owners have to be forced to trust themselves. It's like, okay.
How did they find a union, man? Was that Gene Upshaw? I mean, who would?
Yeah, I mean, are you
Who would
serious?
say, hey, listen, you don't have to guarantee our contracts. And by the way, salary cap's a good idea. Why don't we impose one? I have to admit to a certain element of hypocrisy here on the program, Louis, because I did happen to be home on Saturday night and I realized, wait a minute, these NBA Cup games, the semifinals are on Prime Network. So I dial this up and two very entertaining games, Knicks and Orlando. And then San Antonio hands Oklahoma City only its second loss. Victor Wembanyama comes back and comes off the bench in this game to have a monster game. And the San Antonio Spurs now will face the Knicks in the final. I believe that game is tomorrow night.
Nonsense. Okay.
So, and it seemed like, I hate to say this, Louie, but it seemed like they were playing with a little bit of extra incentive in these games. Now, the winner of the game itself was going to be good for about $100,000 a man.
Nice.
Even if you have 60 million, if you're playing somebody one-on-one, Louie, you go outside and let's say a young Luca, when he's 16 years old, challenges you and you're playing for money. I don't care how much it is. Do you not have added incentive to win the game? Unless you just wanted to give the kid the $50. But
I mean, you always want, again, no matter how much it is, when it comes to money, it amps everything up. Even if you're rich as hell, people still want that $1, that $5, that $50, especially when it's a game. When it's a wager, there's just something about it that makes it mean more.
Yeah. Like, I mean, for $100,000, I don't care how much money you have. It's still $100,000. And there's the pride and competitive thing. Look, I mean, what do these guys do? They gamble their brains out on the plane rides. All of these stories about high end card games are legendary, right? Jordan was a leader in that. Stories, about all teams where they involve people and they love to gamble. These guys. So I'm thinking $100,000 was a little incentive. It looked to me like both. Stan Van Gundy was having an orgasm on the air as he was doing the color analysis on the OKC San Antonio game, talking about how, and he wasn't far off. I mean, it wasn't like he was delusional. He was saying this was some of the best basketball that he had seen all season from the two teams, the way they performed in this game. And you had a lot of bright young stars that were taking the court. So it was interesting because you're talking about two markets that nobody gives a flying one about. Yeah. As we often say, has there ever been a time where anybody has said to you or you had an instinct and thought to yourself, hey, you know where we ought to go for the weekend? Oklahoma City. Huh? Never occurred to me. My former neighbor, the late, great Jim McKinley, who also was a USFL coach, a college football coach, and ran one of the most, he was deemed to be the most successful black businessman in South Florida a couple of I guess it was a yearly distinction or something. I know he won it at least one time for his insurance business that he had. But yeah, he was the only guy I ever knew that loved going to San Antonio, Texas. I've been there a few times, Luby. I have no great desire ever to go to San Antonio, Texas. I don't know about you. Does Shirley ever mention it? You know where we ought to go, Mike? Michael, why don't we go to San Antonio this week?
Oh, never, never, ever, ever.
The
had
Riverwalk is overrated. You got a couple of decent places where they sell burritos. That's about it.
Yep.
San Antonio, Texas, the Alamo. I mean, do you really want to see that? The Alamo Dome was kind of an interesting place when they robbed Purnell's Sweet Pea Whitaker and called that fight with Julio Cesar Chavez a draw. I had nothing but the greatest of respect for the Mexican red bandana head wearing fans who were all there in support of Chavez, who readily admitted on the way out the door there, the gates of the Alamo Dome, that this was a robbery. See, that's a good fan, right? When you could admit that even though your guy, caught a break, it was an undeserved break. And but other than that, I mean, and that was a great time in San Antonio. But it was a 1 day trip, and I was kind of happy about it because there's just nothing going on there, Louis. Riverwalk is overrated. Maybe I'm missing something. I never understood this. I'm not the type. Somebody says something that you find to be totally absurd, but it's their opinion. Well, what am I going to do? Tell the guy, hey, you're full of crap. I mean, San Antonio blows. I would.
But I've been to Houston, Dallas. That's the cities that I've heard are great. I have no interest in running to San Antonio.
You're third on the list of destinations to visit in Texas, for God's sake. Get out of here. Not even third. I would think Austin was a more premium destination. Huh? Austin, Texas. Yeah, they got all this great music and barbecue.
Yep.
All right, we're going to come back with more. But I did watch these NBA Cup games. They were kind of interesting. And it seemed to me, maybe I was just adding that in there because I was on some kind of inebriant or something. But it seemed to me that there was a little bit more bounce in the step of all of these NBA players as they were playing. In that particular case, the one-game paycheck differential from the prize fund was $100,000 or something in that neighborhood. But it also gave you a shot at the $500,000 per player that will be given to the winning team between San Antonio and the Knicks. Any opinion on that game, Lubie? Can the Knicks prosper there? Karl Anthony Towns playing defense, supposedly.
Yeah, they can hang. I mean,
look, he looked great coming back off the bench, had 20-plus points. A lot of
when he's healthy, he's really hard to stop, especially since they have nice young guards that would give Brunson trouble. But I mean, they do have their own big that can pull him away from the basket, which is what you want to do because he's as good defensively as he is offensively. So Towns is good at playing the mid game and three ball that maybe that takes Wemby out, so that opens things up. And they have a lot of athleticism in the Knicks with Anunoby and Bridges. Yeah, the Knicks definitely match up, I would think, pretty well with the Spurs. I mean, I would if Wemby's healthy, I would lean Spurs just because they're a very interesting team, and I'm always weird about the Knicks.
And you hate the Knicks, yeah. You hate the Knicks.
I hate a lot of teams, and I'll say that they're good. I just think the Knicks are weirdly put together, but I think that the Spurs are a team that fits them. Like they can hang where some teams would struggle with the Spurs. The Knicks are actually, because of the perimeter defense, they have size with Robinson. If Robinson's playing, I never know when he's healthy. And with Cat, that could give Wemby some trouble. That they actually match up probably pretty well with the Spurs.
I will see. I mean, could I be looking any more forward to the NBA Cup Championship? Brought to you by the United Arab Republic, Adam Silver. Well, what's going on with that? My God. Talk about a sellout. Between the sneakers in China and this, and they were covering, as soon as they started covering the ads there with the LA Clippers, that was it for Donald Sterling. They didn't care about it. I mean, a blatant racist pig for his entire life. Well documented by especially his record in making sure that no black person ever rented a place.
Yeah, as a slumlord, he was rough.
It was really he wasn't getting clobbered, yeah. But as soon as he gets on, I mean, that's it. Biggest rat in the world, the cell phone, Louis. V. Stiviano sitting there with the cell phone, and here's Donald Sterling going, can you believe it? They put black guys in front of me? Hello, Adam. One Adam 12. All right, college football playoffs are on tap this week. We have a lot of stuff to look forward to during the course of the week. I actually was watching some women's college volleyball yesterday, Libby. Women's
Okay.
college volleyball. I have to say, man, that these girls really play. Turns out Marcus Spears, who's featured prominently on ESPN, he seems to be a very tolerable guy. No, I mean, I don't know. Is he saying anything fascinating?
That's okay. He's not bad.
I think he's better or more easy to take doing football, Marcus Spears, than for whatever reason Kendrick Perkins is the go-to guy for ESPN on NBA basketball.
Oh God, yes. Marcus Spears and your favorite, the one that they would always move around when he was on Monday nights, but he's actually pretty good.
Booger McFarland. The Booger isn't a bad analyst. It's a shame he got tagged with this reputation as being worthless.
They're decent analysts. Kendrick Perkins is one of the worst analysts.
Does he know what the hell he's talking about? It seems like he's just making statements.
I think he wanted to get attention, and so he just said crazy crap. We've seen a lot of that at ESPN. The guy that's the biggest moneymaker now is doing it all over every network, trying to become a political. I guess he wants to be a politician. He's not even trying to be an analyst. He wants to run for offices. Screaming A, but yes, that's what they've done there. But those two gentlemen are okay. Perkins sucks. Like I can't listen to anything he says. He's horrendous.
That doesn't seem. I mean, I know he played a long time in the NBA. He should know the game.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
He was an effective player, even though he wasn't like a natural brilliant talent, but he was a very effective player. You would think he would be a pretty astute analyst of basketball, but it does seems like he's making stuff up, and then he's probably watching more hockey than NBA. But Spears has credibility. He was yelling and screaming. I mean, I actually enjoyed this aspect of it because his daughter plays for Texas, and they were playing Wisconsin. And what I didn't realize, this is one of those championships that I didn't know when it took place. But the brand of, I've seen my share of volleyball, right? We've all watched Olympic volleyball, Karch Karayan Company. Those teams were very good. And beach volleyball became popular around that same time, and so you saw a lot of this two-man stuff. But the women play I would have to say a very high caliber. Would you say this is a true statement, Lubie? A very high caliber of volleyball in the NCAA.
Oh yes, I used to say what was once the FSU, like the gym people could work out, became an older gym, but they still had stuff in it. It was called Tully when I was at FSU. I don't even know if it still is around. And that's where they would hold the women's volleyball. Like my buddy was in town and we were walking through when I might've been a sophomore, and I'm like, oh my God, look, volleyball. So we just like sat down. They didn't even make you pay for tickets. And it was really good volleyball. Like they don't
good. Yeah, there's no doubt.
Real deal. Like because I've watched the beach volleyball my whole life and the Olympics and stuff. So I've always loved
totally different game. Yeah, the Olympics. Would be represented.
And the indoor stuff. I watched all of it, and I'm like, it's like when we watch the tennis, and it's like, okay, these are like people that are not the best in the world, and
they're smacking the ground.
Pretty good.
High level of athleticism and continuity on the team. It was interesting because that was only the quarterfinals. So Wisconsin ended up prevailing in that match, 3-1. It was pretty competitive all the way through. And I believe they play Kentucky in the semifinals. I'm not sure who the other two semifinalists are, but high-quality stuff. I think that goes Thursday. And the big thing was to make it to Kansas City. What was really cool about it, though, Spears was leading the cheers for Texas. They were at home for this. I believe. I don't know if it was a neutral side. It couldn't have been because it was a largely Texas crowd. So it had to be played on their home wood. And the crowd was incredible. It was very enjoyable to see this sort of grassroots element sport, and the intensity with which it was played, and the efficiency. Pretty cool stuff. I think I'm inclined to maybe tune in on Thursday, Lubie. We'll have a women's college volleyball semifinal analysis and report. We should get somebody talking about it, right? Is there something? I got hooked a little bit on it, I have to say. Because I
was going for college football before we get to volleyball.
College women's volleyball will be the focus of the show. Never mind getting any experts on. We don't care about the playoffs, which start Friday.
Oh, they
with
do. Oh,
Oklahoma
these
and
are
Alabama.
Friday.
Another game I don't know what to do with.
I lean Alabama, but Alabama too has struggled the last month or so, as even SEC fans will tell you.
Yes.
I still think they're the best. Oklahoma, I actually tend to agree with the professor. I think their
Professor
defense.
hates Oklahoma, right?
Well, it's just their defense is really good, but their offense sucks, and they get a lot of weird breaks. Like teams that never turn it over will turn it over back-to-back possessions, and then turn it over later in the game. And it's like, okay, so Oklahoma won by 10 because their defense is legit, but their offense is horrendous. So if you can just not turn the ball over, you'll outpace them because Mateer's not good and their offense is not good. So, like, Alabama should be able to beat them, but these two have already played, and Oklahoma beat them the first time because of that. In like the first 10 minutes, Alabama had like 2 turnovers, had a weird 3 and out, and it was like, what the hell?
You're wondering if they can rally. I mean, they are not playing well.
No, they're not.
Last several weeks.
Boris hearing a lot of stuff. It's like, I'm like, man, I would love for them to fire him and FSU to hire him. Like, I think he's a really good coach.
Well, he stunted and refuted the Michigan rumors anyway yesterday.
I mean, it's not like
anything? I can't imagine, though, after the way he was so emphatic about this, going out of his way to make this statement, that he turns around and takes the job. It would seem really far-fetched. So, all right, we're going to come back with more. A lot more to discuss here on the program. Got many things happening. A relatively light slate of sports tonight for Monday night, but it gets very, very heavy.
I know
this holidays, where all of these pro leagues swing into action. Both the NBA and the NFL now on Christmas Day.
Yes.
So the NFL, how many games do they play Christmas Day? 2, or do they just feature one a night? As the NBA is still trying to claim it's our day, which it was, right? That's
it would be like 30 games.
They announced the schedule before the real schedule even comes out. Here's what we have on Christmas Day. Like you're going to be marking off X's on the calendar, like some guy that's doing time, saying, "Oh man, look at that! Only 38 more days."
The NFL went for it. I forgot they treat it like it's Thanksgiving. There's a 1 o'clock, a 4:30, and an 8:15.
Sayonara NBA.
I was going to say, I haven't watched NBA's Christmas stuff in a few years now. Oh wait, that's why.
They may as well put up some G League games.
Exactly. I used to love it. Like I would watch like all that would have been on. It would be on in whatever my life was. There's always sports in some way, so like it would always at least be on in the background. And I remember the last few years, it's been like, the NBA still plays on Christmas.
NBA. They may as well put all of the scrub teams on.
Yeah, it's like a waste.
They'll hide the schedule until Christmas Day. That's when they'll release it in the future. All right, we're coming back with more in a moment on that.
The time.
Oh, pizza. Oh, God, disgusting. It's 8:45.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously. Friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs, unmatched. Steaks, hand-cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
Joe Bees. The bees collect the pollen, bring it to Joe, he packages it, and he gets it to you. It's simple, 100% natural, and it's good for you.
There's only one place to get Joe Bees, and that's from me. Joe B.
If you want to look and feel good, call 877-300-5632.
You can't fake caring. Women can sense this immediately. You don't really care. You didn't really want to do any of this.
We now return to the Defo Show.
All right, welcome back to the show, a Monday edition. Peel yourself off the mat Monday. It was a long weekend on the sporting front, Lubie. So many things taking place over the weekend. We did have the Cats win a game. The Florida Panthers sort of been meandering under the radar there. I mean, you talk about the fall off the Chiefs. And I told you about this speculation. There was a handicapper recommending that you would take plus 125, which seems like a very marginal proposition. Plus 125 that the Florida Panthers would miss the playoffs in spite of the anticipated return of the lineup and a recent surge of top-level play by Carter Verhaeghe. The return to the lineup of Matt Tkachuk. People still with their doubts that they'll even make the postseason.
They're gonna make the play. I mean, especially since if those guys are coming back, if you can get and Verhaeghe woke up and you can actually get Tkachuk back. Is he back? If you can get him back this month as it was predicted, the hockey season is a long season. Like the playoffs aren't until like March, April. Like that's a lot of games. And again, they're right around the playoffs now. So like when you get Tkachuk back, they're going to be a playoff team. It's just what if you wanted to see them get a real like title defense / go for the 3-peat / 4-peat for the conference. Like you wanted to see them really get that shot. Who knows if this will count as that? Like I think they'll make the playoffs. I just don't know what they're going to be when they get to the playoffs.
Let's hope they're really good. I mean, if they don't do anything, even if they miss the playoffs this year, hell of a run, make the Stanley Cup final 3 years in a row. And if the Chiefs fans are crying today that Andy Reid's got to go and Mahomes is washed up, they really should look themselves in the mirror. I mean, and just thank these guys for a remarkable run at the top. So if the Panthers missed out this year, I would be surprised. I for some reason feel like they're going to find a way into the postseason. It's not like it's an exclusive group that makes the postseason in the NHL. Talking about like half the teams. Go ahead.
Brian's been informing us they're within striking distance of the first place, and again, there's 2 months left, guys. Like I don't know what people are doing. They're trying to like find.
Bobrovsky hasn't been the same.
Well, he's older too. I think they're playing the other guy a little bit more than you normally would. Like, and the other people aren't him. And again, they've lost a lot with Tkachuk does it on both ways. We've seen Barkov does it on both ways. So you're losing guys who are scorers who also help with your defense and also help with your leadership.
Well, and he's a good instigator. They should give him 2 minutes for instigating before he even puts a skate on the ice.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's always instigating stuff.
100%. He pisses people off. But also, again, like we saw with the Warriors, you've gone to 3 straight Stanley Cup finals. Like the regular season, you only take as serious as you need to. I don't know. To say that I make the playoffs is weird.
Go ahead.
I see them making the playoffs. We'll see what they are. That's my question. And again, I'm not writing it off that they can't make a run. Like, if you can get Barkov miraculously back right before the playoffs, which they've said he's done, but there's been a lot of whispers about him. You get Tkachuk back halfway through the year. That's plenty of time for him to get into form. You're now having Verhaeghe hot. You've had Marchand play well the whole year. Like Bennett is that you signed all those guys back for a reason. Like I wouldn't put anything past this team. We've seen them make crazy runs. I wouldn't put money on them to win it all, but I would definitely put money against that guy who thinks they're not going to make the playoffs at all. I think that's a weird
plus 125. So I mean they're favored to make it. You'll have to lay a price if you bet they're going to make it. This guy was saying take plus 125 that they wouldn't make it, and I think the odds are more in their favor than that. So I would be reluctant to go ahead and embrace that bet. What I love about the NHL though is it's such a crazy league. Well, when do you ever see this? I guess it's happened where teams have traded top-of-the-line starting pitchers in the past in baseball, and you've seen – do you ever see star for star? You're seeing a little more of that now in the NFL. NBA, you obviously see that.
The Paul George trade was – now a star for a star. SGA wasn't a star at the time, and now he's the star. And Paul.
But I'm talking about like Luka, and you would have to say Anthony Davis is a star.
That was star for star. Yeah. Again, one guy.
You have to throw in a little extra because there's more shelf life with Luka, and he's a better player in terms of being overall impactful on the team. But the Oilers, remember Stuart Skinner? I mean, we've seen him the last couple of Stanley Cup finals.
Oh, the goalie.
And was somewhat suspect. Wasn't he? They traded the goal to the Penguins straight up for like Tristan Jarry.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, there was a throw in there. Skinner actually brought more value back than the Edmonton Oilers. What would prompt that? A goaltender swap. at Edmonton in the midst of what you'd have to say is a pretty remarkable run, in spite of the fact they haven't won the championship. Kind of weird, right? To just trade your goalie for another goalie. Starting goalies. This isn't like they acquired a backup and a defenseman or something, but straight up goalie for goalie. Only in, well, I don't know. It's happened in other sports. I don't know that it's happened so much recently. You did see Jerry Jones making moves like this, although he was trading for draft picks more so than the player he acquired in the Micah Parsons deal. And then what did he give away in the Quinnen Williams trade? Did he give away a lot of those draft picks to the New York Jets? I think so. I want to say yes to that.
I wouldn't doubt it.
But weird. I mean, especially the same position also. I mean, you just like, when do you see teams swap first baseman or swap center?
I feel like in life, like it happens every once in a while. You'll get trades, and this guy works out here, and this guy works out there. It's just rare. Like usually, the team that gets the best player versus the team that gave up a bunch of garbage used to win those trades. Now we've seen some work out as the player's older, and the stuff you got back again. That SGA trade worked out in abundance for the Thunder, and it did not work out for the Clippers. So it happens. I don't know. It's rare you see star for star and it work out. It's rare to see star for star.
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of seeing stars,
Okay.
and I guess is this thing happening? Is it this week? And it's taking place at the Kaseya Center in Miami. The Jake Paul Anthony Joshua.
Oh God, yes.
This is what boxing has become. I mean, you used to get excited about Sugar Ray Leonard and Duran, or Tommy Hearns, or Hagler Hearns, any of these big fights that took place in that era. They would do a press tour. I remember having both, and in some gymnasium, some high school gym somewhere in Miami, they brought Sugar Ray Leonard and Tommy Hearns before they fought for the first time, and had them do short one-on-ones with virtually every media member that was willing to attend, which that was at a time where the sports scene was far more sparse here, and you couldn't wait to get in on something like that. But this is what's making headlines. Anthony Joshua, who hasn't fought in a year, he remember Glass Joe in the Mike Tyson video game?
Yes.
A bit of a glass jaw.
Yes, that was the thing. If you hit him right in the face, he pass out.
An imposing figure. I mean, brought along very well by Eddie Hearn and his Matchroom Boxing Group, which and when you get a British heavyweight, are you kidding me? These British boxing fans are insane, Lubie. You'd think they're crazy in soccer, these boxing fans, and they're not afraid to send it in. I still have a poster in my room that of the who else would be hanging something like this? The Danny Williams Vitaly Klitschko fight.
Oh Jesus!
And Danny Williams is only in this fight because Mike Tyson tore his anterior cruciate. Speaking of ACL tears, while he was in the early rounds with this guy, who ended up knocking out Mike Tyson, stopping him because Tyson. He couldn't continue. He's rolling around there on a torn ACL. I forget exactly how the fight ended, but you weren't convinced that all of a sudden this guy Danny Williams, who you never heard of before, was the second coming of any great heavyweight. I mean, Jack Dempsey, this guy was not. And so I'm there for this Danny Williams Klitschko fight, and the Britons, the Great Britons people, the English people, are sending it in on Danny Williams. I mean, guys are betting like 25, 50,000 on this guy who has no chance, Lubie. No chance. Vladimir Klitschko probably was more seen as a fighter than his brother Vitaly, and Vitaly was a very, very awkward style fighter. But man, I mean, if Vladimir Klitschko had this giant right hand, the power right hand, Vitaly was much more of an imposing figure. So and they bet their brains out on this stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how they approach the whole thing in terms of wagering. But you definitely want these guys, if you're in a sports book, you want the English people coming out there and betting their brains out. All right, so they have Anthony Joshua in this fight. Now you would probably have to bet a fortune on Anthony Joshua to win any money. No, has to be. what kind of deal could they be making? That would be the thing to bet on if anybody could actually get their hands on the contract. Because how could you possibly believe that Jake Paul would have any chance against a legitimate, recently competitive heavyweight?
I mean, look, Joshua, he's fallen off a little bit. Maybe he's out of shape. I don't know. And Jake Paul says one thing. He's always, from what we know, he works hard and he's in good shape. Like maybe Joshua can't hang. Boxing, again, a 75-year-old George Foreman beat
He's
a
like
very
100
good
pounds heavier, I think.
young Michael Moore. Like sometimes you get popped with a shot. I don't know. I can't watch any of these. I hate the polls. Mayweather, McGregor already hit boxing hard, and I was barely watching it. Like once these guys came on the scene, I don't even try to watch it. Like I've seen it. Is it Netflix in the corner of one of the streamers I watch? Like Netflix. Whatever. I'm like, oh my God, we're doing this again. Like that's my response. My feeling is we're doing this again. Whenever I see either of the Logan, Jake, I don't know if they both box. I have no idea.
Logan.
Whenever I see their names
anymore. Yeah, you haven't seen him. Jake took over the entire mantle there.
Makes me sick. I think it's stupid.
Guy gets $100 million to fight him. You don't make that much fighting Canelo.
No, you take it. I'm not mad at the boxers for getting in the ring with him. I'm mad at us, quote unquote, us, for making it a thing.
Why are we buying this though? I mean,
people bought it and paid money and put eyeballs on it. So
would you go? I mean, unless they had, the Thrill in Manila at its time on the undercard, why would you go down to the Kasaya Center to see this circus? Kind of crazy, huh? That this is what works today, Lubie?
I have no idea. It's all makes me sad.
Dying sport. I mean, it's been dying for 100 years.
Yeah, it's not dying. It's dying now. They said it was dying my whole life, and you had some of the greatest boxers ever and some of the greatest.
They became among the biggest celebrities.
Money ever. Like it's dying now because we've pushed out real talent for PR stunts.
This is crazy, huh? That this will generate more interest.
Oh yeah,
than any of the big fights that ever took place.
Yeah, for sure.
Dig up Dempsey, the aforementioned Dempsey and Gene Tunney, and match them in their primes, and they would draw less of an audience by far than Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua.
Pretty much.
You would have to imagine, though, that if Paul gets hit with one real shot,
yeah, he's down.
That his nose will be implanted in the back of his head. You couldn't take a shot from a heavyweight. I mean, I don't care what kind of shape he's in. If Joshua landed one of those body shots that he used to have, it's over, my friend. May as well wake up smoking Joe Frazier and have him attack you in like the middle rounds in Zaire. It baffles me, and yet it seems so common about what's going on in the world today, where reality has given way to clickbait, basically. I was going to name the show Clickbait. I didn't realize it was a very popular television show by the same name.
Oh, I mean, it makes sense.
I figured, hey, what's the way to attract attention on this kind of stuff? Just make up any BS, put it out there, as if it was true. If you're not going to be a hate monger or something along those lines, just promote complete BS, and you would probably fare far better than a guy. The only other way I think to attract the kind of attention that you would get from what would be commonly called clickbait would be to pick like 100 straight winners and become known for that. And at what point do people start paying attention?
I don't know.
Well, he's bound to lose soon.
Yeah.
100 straight. All right. Let's hope you guys all have 100 straight winners. Lubie, you have a good one. And thanks as always for being with us.
Yes, sir.
We will see you tomorrow, and we'll be here the whole week. So then next
be here all week for sure. I'm trying to figure out what the next 2 weeks will entail.
I'm thinking we do Monday and Tuesday and bow out.
I'm glad we're on the same page. Yes, it's been a very long year. We have found a way to work a lot.
It's amazing, yeah, without really getting a whole lot of momentum. Yeah, so
yeah, that's a whole other
story. Clickbait, I'm telling you, Lubie. That's you can help me produce that.
Against it, but yes, we'll be here this week, beginning next week, and then holidays are here. So.
Total BS. I mean, everything we say is just complete. We're doing it here, so why not capitalize on it? All right, kids, you guys all have a great day. From Mike Lubie Lubitz, I'm Jeff DeForest. We'll see you next time as we leave you now that.
The time.
It's 9:01.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.